So welcome to this introduction to Fibonacci's sequence. Before you actually get started creating any geometry, I think it's important to understand what we're doing. First, we're gonna be talking about Fibonacci. Fibonacci was an Italian citizen born in 1175 in Pisa, Italia, and he has several names. He's known as Leonardo Pisa, Leonardo Pisano, Bonacci. He has several names. But what matters here is that he was the son of a businessman. Literature says that he was the son of custom agent or some sort of a diplomat back in time from Italy, working in northern Africa. And when he was a little boy, he was there with his father, living with his father in a city called Bugia at the north of Africa, in northern Africa. And he was studying, but with Arabic people. So he got to learn mathematics from Hindu people. Hindu people had designed this decimal system, and Arabic people took it over and worked it out, and he learned from Arabs about math. Let's talk a little bit about his contribution. Being a boy who learned this Hindu-Arabic decimal numeric system, he basically introduced that mathematics to Western Europe. And this is basically what changed everything in terms of mathematics in Europe and, of course, in the Occidental Western side of the world. So that introduction was over the 13th century, and he used that system he learned being a boy to develop many theories. In fact, he was not considered a great mathematician back in time, but after his death, his work was well appreciated. He had several manuscripts about numbers, geometry, problem solving using objects. And apparently he was inspired by the reproduction. He saw a system, numeric system in the reproduction of rabbits and mouses, and he was inspired to that to develop the system known as the Fibonacci sequence. So what is the Fibonacci sequence? Fibonacci, Leonardo de Pisa, he started observing. Most of this knowledge comes from observation. So first he started checking sequence that repeated over the branches of trees. He saw like a tree had the trunk, but then it divided in two, then there was a division in three. So he started seeing, as I'm showing here on the slide, he started checking on the branches of the tree, this sequence of trunks and branches and leaves growing. But he also started to observe a system around the seeds of the sunflower. There was a sequence in the way they grew. Also, there was a sequence in the reproduction of rabbits, as I said before. He started making tests, developing problem solvings, and he came out with this sequence, like every number, okay, for example, it starts with 1, the Fibonacci sequence. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. If this result was added to the previous number, that was 1, I got 3. Then 3 plus 2 got 5. 5 plus 3 got 8. 8 plus 5, 13, and so on. And the funny thing is that he found out something really interesting. First, he developed this sequence of numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on. He found this sequence, but then he also found out that when they got dividing two successive Fibonacci numbers, like for example 1 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1, 3 divided by 2, 5 divided by 3, and so on. He got very close to phi, the golden ratio. So this is pretty interesting, the way he found this out by observation. He wrote that down. This knowledge is actually used even in trading. Those loving financial markets will know that there are trends following in the prices of stocks and bonds following Fibonacci's golden ratio, and this has quite a use. If we look in the sequence of nature, we will find this ratio Fibonacci found. There's always, when there's math, there's number, there's a way to put this in a sketch, in a graphic following a proportion. So this is pretty much this curve following the golden ratio, and actually you're gonna learn how to create it with Fibonacci sequence. And you can see in nature, in mineral, in an animal, in the vegetable worlds, there's the presence of the Fibonacci sequence. Storms also have the golden ratio, and also in our human bodies. In our human bodies, we have this proportion as well. We have been discussing this. And why is this relevant and important? Every time, I have explained in other classes, but every time we do create geometry, it's like we realign with the energy of the universe. Remember that sacred geometry has different meanings, but one of the main meanings is that sacred geometry is a sequence of patterns used to create the universe, and that they are present not only in the micro, let's say micro and macro. They have presence in cells and atoms, and there's presence of sacred geometry in galaxies. So we reorganize ourselves internally, and all these classes is just to put together numerology, the vibration of the number, the vibration of a sacred geometry related to the number. And once you are done creating this, you will feel something that you cannot say with words. Apart from victory, it gives you a sensation like, wow, I did it, but it will also makes you feel different. So what is next after you know who Fibonacci was, how he got to that result of the Fibonacci, how is this related to phi, the golden ratio? You are going to sketch this golden ratio yourself in a very systematic and step-by-step way. I think it's very simple to do, and I hope you do enjoy. Don't worry if you make mistakes. It's normal. I personally have done this golden ratios case sequence many times, and I've made many mistakes, and I cannot stop drawing it because it really empowers you to another level. It's like you get to understand things from you that you cannot explain with words. Having said that, let's go to the next class, in which I am going to teach you step by step how to create this golden rectangle, golden spiral, and most importantly, I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful mandala using this beautiful spiral. Enjoy!